All right, guys, we're going to start this one off with something a little crazy. I'm down back in PGI today, and people ask me what's going on in the market here. As you can see, I have a home for sale behind me, but there is one next door. There is one across the street. There is one next to that. There is one next to this. So as I spin on one corner, we have 5 homes for sale currently just on this block. And if you guys pull up Zillow 33950, you can see how overcrowded for listings it is, but this is wild. While I was driving in here, the amount of for sale signs blew me away, and I'm down here all the time. So I actually showed one of these listings to a friend of the channel the other day, and I came out the front door of one and just looked around and was like, oh my God, this is like it's like 5 homes for sale in iShot on one court. This is a court as well that we're going to go around. So that just blew me away. You know, if you want a good illustration of what's going on down here, look no further than that. That's a lot of streets look like that. Usually they're not piled on top of each other like those are. So that is a rare occurrence. But man, talk about the Pentagon of pain over there. I mean, that's a lot of houses in one area. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted to show you guys, this is about a half mile. Look how many for sale signs. We have one there. Then I turn to the right. Boom, we got another one right there. Then we've got a for rent sign. Then we've got a for sale for rent sign. Again, guys, this is about a half mile. Another for sale sign. We've got a piece of land up for sale here. It's unbelievable how much property is for sale here. We've got another home for sale. Over on the left, it's going to be multiple lots for sale. There's one. Here's the second one. Then there's a couple of for sale signs out in front of these condos here, as you can see in the driveway. It was kind of hard to keep up with. Another piece of land for sale there. Another piece of land for sale. A third piece of land for sale right there. And then, of course, we spin back to the right. Another home for sale by owner. Let's get it down the block. Another house for sale on the left. Another house for sale on the right. Right across the street. I had to slow it down. And finally, another one on the left. Guys, this is just a half a mile stretch. That's how crazy this is getting in Punta Gorda Isles. So a lot of stuff here to cover. Sorry, I'm still a little frazzled for that. But a lot of stuff to cover here today, guys. I'll try to get through it quickly. The reason I bring this up, and obviously the Punta Gorda area, is I have been putting in offers here. As you guys know, they're pretty aggressive. But I think they're fair. I think they're fair for the market, for what's going on down here. I sent one out the other day. This is about 10% off ask, again, for the friend from the channel. Thought it was reasonable. The sellers did not, so they countered. And the comps they were using to justify their pricing were from March, which again, we're in May. That's kind of like a lifetime ago. The home had actually gone under contract in January, the comparable that they were using. So, you know, we're sitting here in May, and now it's 5.5 months later since that offer was made on that home. And the market here is drastically different. I do have stats for Punta Gorda Isles. So that was my argument. I said, hey, listen, you know, that comp closed in March, and I have April's data. Unfortunately, from March until April of this year, prices in this zip code have fallen 10% median and 12% on average. So I think that our 10% under asking offer is reasonable. Well, they didn't feel that way. So, you know, unfortunately, we couldn't get that one together, but that's the reality of the situation here, guys. The prices here are down month over month in Punta Gorda Isles, 33950, by double digits, just month over month. So that's where they're down year over year. The inventory here is up 40% from April of 2024 to April of 2025. This is all according to MLS data I pulled. And it's just the reality. You know, I try to justify it. I try to show what I can, explain why the offers are the way they are. But, you know, some people just, I get it. It's not where they want to be. So unfortunately, couldn't put that one together. But it brings me to an article that Redfin just posted, basically stating that across the country, not just here, typical home sellers want $39,000 more than home buyers are currently willing to pay. Not just in Florida. This is nationwide, according to them. And they're getting this number by saying the median asking price is about 9% higher than the median sales price nationwide right now. That's the largest gap since 2020. So is the entire country swapping into a buyer's market on the whole? I don't know. I cover Florida. You guys tell me what you see in your regions. I am hearing weakening from people who are coming here to purchase. Different states, they're telling me it's not quite as strong as they had been seeing, so potentially, but it depends on every area. I mean, I'm even hearing stuff is kind of sitting around in some Northeast sections, New Jersey, New York areas, but I can't confirm that. It's just all anecdotal, so maybe, I don't know. And what is helping that $39,000 gap widen is that, according to Realtor.com, or excuse me, according to Redfin as well, home buyers need to earn 87% more than the pre-COVID years to afford a starter home. And as you guys know, starter homes can be 300 to 400, 700,000, depending on where you are. And the incomes have had to rise 87%. So you basically had to double your income to accommodate a new starter house in the last 5 years. And unfortunately, a lot of people have not been able to do that. So that's where your gap's coming from. And real quick, guys, while I spin through this water cul-de-sac back here, as you can see, the mangroves are over there. If you like this content, please consider giving me a like, maybe a subscribe. It helps the channel out immensely. I appreciate everybody who has already done so, and we'll get you right back to the video. Now, since I'm in PG, I did get to tour another flood-damaged home recently. We had another friend from the channel that was touring in the area with us recently, Sherry and I, and they pulled up a house that unfortunately had just gone pending, but we went to see it anyway, just in case it fell through. And I want to show you guys what this looks like currently. Like, these are still popping up. What do these look like, and what is the pricing on them? So we'll jump into that real quick. All right, me and Sherry just got on site on this flood damaged home on the Peace River. Just happen to have my hat and shades on, so I figured why not do a walkthrough. We're going to show this to a customer, but show you guys what 475 is getting you here currently and what condition it's in. All right, so I'll pull it up on Zillow here real quick. I like how Sherry ran into the door when I pulled the camera out, but I got her on camera again. So they're asking 475. This is 4498 North Shore Drive. It is built in 54 on a half-acre lot, and as you can see, it's right here on the water. Let's go through the tour. So you can see there to the left, they pulled a jacuzzi out of here. This got hit pretty bad with flood damage. There's a two-car garage behind us that's detached, and it looks like someone's come in here and tried to remediate most of this home. I don't know how well it was done, but somebody came in here, cut out all the drywall, cut out everything, took out all the insulation. It has an upstairs. I'll get you guys up there as well, but this is almost like halfway cleaned up. This must have looked just unbelievable when all the muck and the water was in here. This is sort of 50% remediation, I'd say. But you can see the harbor's right there. I mean, it's a great location. So this is the other side of the house. The insulation looks like they cleaned it up and put some of it back in. It just seems to be too much for whoever was doing this to take on. Here's the bathroom, what's left of it. So at their asking price, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think this is too much work to take on? It does have an upstairs. It's just the master up here. And as you can see, it's got a great view out to the harbor. This deck is a little questionable. I didn't want to stay on it for very long. But you got great water views up here. I mean, this place was probably killer, you know, when it was up and running. Still got a nice metal roof. Check out this guy's tiki bar next door. And there's the old Sunseeker in the background, looming, looming in the distance. But we'll get you back inside and kind of show you the fireplace area. See, somebody like kind of half cut the wall. The backyard is the real appeal, obviously, as I struggle with the sliding glass door to get us out there. And I'm going to take another look at this guy's tiki bar. The thing is crazy. It's just massive. You know, you want to get invited over for those parties for sure. So as you can see, the metal roof still in great shape, probably replaced after Ian. The seawall does need some work. There is no dock left. I don't know if there was one here. That's not the dock to this property. So not sure what the deal with that is. And we will jump over and I will show you the other flood damaged home that we showed right down the street as well. All right, so this one is 5074 Melbourne, right down the street from the one we just saw. They are at 550. Last price cut was in February. Again, right here on the harbor. You got 3 beds, 3 baths. Well, you got none of that right now because it's torn out. 2,300 square feet, built in 73. Let's take a look. So right off the bat, you can see the garage door has seen better days. We'll get you inside here. There's actually a public park right on the right of this property. So I don't know if that's a bonus, if that's a negative for some people. And you can see the remediation has started in here. Not as extensive as it was in the last one we're in. They just cut all the drywall out. Not even really too cleaned up yet. So a lot to do here still. But basically the first 4 feet had to come out of the whole house. It's down to the studs, sheetrock, everywhere. So this is really your canvas. It does seem like it's going to be a lot of work. You basically have to replace the entire home. This is the back. It has a cool little cabana back there, so that's not a nice little guest suite. We did take a peek in there, so a pretty fresh sleeping bag. So, you know, make your own assumptions about what's going on there. Seawall here also busted. It did have a dock, but it's in pretty rough shape, so we'll get you guys back to the video. So probably not going to need inspections on those homes, guys. Pretty cut and dry what's going on in there. And I don't know, what do you guys think? Are they worth rehabbing? Do you think those prices, where they're located, are those 2 homes worth rehabbing? Let me know in the comments below. But that also brings me to inspections. I have seen people recently that I've been working with, you're buying new construction going, do I really need an inspection? Yes, 100% yes, absolutely. Look at the horror stories online. That's all you really need to do. But I can tell you, I just did a recent new build inspection. It was a nightmare. It was one of the worst I've ever seen. And did they fix everything? Did they rectify everything? Yes, but we really had to stay on top of them. We did the first walkthrough after we had the inspection, came in, only half the stuff was fixed. Now, on your first walkthrough, you're generally closing 7 days later. So the buyer panicked. What are we going to do? I said, we're going to get them to fix it. Stayed on top of them, come back for the final walkthrough. Some of the stuff still isn't fixed. And I mean, it's a lot of things that you wouldn't notice just walking yourself. I actually feel bad. I felt bad for the site manager because since they hadn't fixed so many items on the punch list that we had from the original inspection, it got me to looking around even harder. And we started noticing when they came in to do repairs, they had actually damaged other stuff. They had scuffed up walls. There was dirt everywhere. They had to fix all kinds of caulking and all kinds of settlement cracks because when the first list of repairs included tearing out a bunch of tiles. So they came in, they're beating up the floor. You know, now all these cracks are forming. If they had just addressed it properly, the second time wouldn't have to go through it. So now we're on closing day and the buyer is freaking out because they don't want to take this house. You got to get back on them. So they got a group out there. We pushed it back a day. They did fix everything. They apologized, but it got me thinking to people who purchase new construction without inspections. And we just made an offer for another friend of the channel on a new construction home. And they asked us that. They said, why do we need an inspection? And that's the story I told them. I said, no way. You got to do a 10-day inspection. You got to get an independent inspector in there. There's going to be something wrong. I don't care how good it looks to your naked eye. So keep that in mind, guys. Don't ever, no matter what you're buying, don't ever waive inspections. And I'll add to that, we also had another property that we were dealing with where the seller had a recent inspection. I mean, we're talking like the inspection was 2 weeks before we made our offer. And the agents provided that and said, hey, look, we have a nice clean inspection report here. No need to get your own. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, there is. Absolutely. Lo and behold, our inspector found a bunch of issues that the previous inspector hadn't found. So it's like an appraisal, guys. It's all subjective. You know, it's going to vary each individual inspector, but there was some issues there that needed to be addressed, and we ended up negotiating those out. Now, had they just taken their previous inspection report, which who knows if that was their personal inspector, I have no idea. You always want to keep it at arm's length, do like a third party kind of thing. Had we kept that inspection report, these issues could have cropped up later, and it would have been on the buyer. But now we can get them resolved or at least negotiated out before closing. So always, 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 guys, do your inspections. You're entitled to do really any inspections you want, except if you cause any damage from the inspections, you are required generally in our contracts and as is contract to repair what your inspector damaged, which is completely reasonable. But don't ever, even if you got insurance inspections, I still say you should probably go and get them redone. Always a good investment, guys. So prices here, people are trying to hold them up. I get it. Even some builders we're working with, we've come in a little lower than their asking price. And they're like, well, we're probably not going to accept that because it's going to destroy the rest of our comps. It's like, well, you probably shouldn't have the house on the market 282 days. Like, I mean, you know, at a certain point, the market has spoken, guys. Your comps have changed. So, but I understand. I get it. People holding out, like the people who didn't want to take the offer here, maybe they'll get what they want. I don't know. Maybe they pull to Florida and find out. Maybe we'll be back in 2 months. I don't know anymore. It's crazy, guys. It's absolute mayhem down here. Very interesting. It's very interesting times. So that's what I got from Punta Gorda Isles today. If you guys like this video, give me a like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.